Good afternoon everybody. In today's section I am going to teach about the model based testing. First we have to know what is the model based testing is nothing but where the implementation of unit testing and integration testing and system testing, these all testings are involved in environmental field. So in real time environmental and the implementation as the testing as phase. So first we will know what is the model based testing. So this is the model based testing where the real time will be implemented as the world, and the model based testing are two types, environmental world and just environment. So in this these testings, these are the three models which are involved in the model based testing, where these are connected to use the commonly testing the bugs to identify the result. So how we are identifying the bugs? Identifying bugs is nothing but prevention of the bugs by test cases and test models we are using. So here in environmental model we are using the first phase, which are the requirement analysis and what are the design phases. Design phases is nothing but modifications of data, or the analysis is nothing but each and every step will be predefinedly execute. So in environmental program we will define each and every program. Suppose we have implemented the program. So what we are following? Depending on the company guidelines only we will follow and we will implement the development, right? So these all environmental model is nothing but depending on the guidelines or the steps followed by the companies or industries, we will follow the environmental model. So these in environmental model we use the unit testing, is because the step by step process, or in unit testing we will define the individual categories, right? Individual categories or individual modules will be implemented. Coming to the program model. Program model is nothing but what is the testing phase, what is the maintenance phase. So in this programming we have to execute the code in the correct way. We have to validate and verify it. So how we verify it? So when the execution of the code is completed, we have to verify. After the verification of the data without any single bug, it will be validate the data. So next one, bug model. In bug model only testing phase will be involved. So in real time world and the model based world, the testing will be done at the bug, where it can be identified or prevention of the bug. Mostly the prevention of the bug, if we have the prevented bug, it will be a software assurance, means best quality we are implementing. How we are implementing the best quality means ISO, following the ISO standards, we will rectify or we will follow the guidelines and we will implement the best quality to improve the documentation or to improve the project. So these three phases, environmental model or program model or a bug model, will be connected to the testings to form a particular result of an output. If the output is not correct or not modified, or it must be a unwanted data repeated, so it will go to the first state until it bug rectified. So first state from requirement analysis and design phase till the maintenance phase, it will continue, the program will continue processing the data. So this process of data will be additionally, from requirement analysis to the last maintenance phase, we will rectify is a single word, which is nothing but environmental model, program model and a bug model. So model based testings, what is the main importance means? First, unit testing. Why we are implementing the unit testing? Unit testing is nothing but we are independent units which are unique. We have to modify it. So in unit testing, a single model, one model, second module, until n modules. These all modules will be tested in one phase, to form a result. So unit testing is independently dividing, one unit is dividing sufficient to check the functionalities of testing, Second thing is the system testing. System testing is always say about the behavior of the total software or total documentation. You know, system testing always be implemented in total documentation what we are preparing for the particular data or particular project. We will notify what is the behavior or what are the actions taken in the particular project. Fine. Next one, this technique is nothing but it will be integrate with one another. Why means unit testing. So unit testing, okay, these are the unit testing which are independent, right? Integration testing, 2 units will be integrated with 1 unit. System testing, the overall modules which are in the system will be involved in the system testing, right? So these all techniques, all modules will be integrated in the system testing. Fine. Next one is nothing but develop the support model. Why means they have to integrate or support each other with another module. Okay, first module will be connected to another module. Without implementation of the first phase, we cannot go to the next phase. Okay. So in this testing or in this model, okay, in this environmental model or the processing or program model, we will check the behavior of the system. Okay, first we have to rectify the check the system whether it is prevented or not. Okay, whether it is validated or not. First you see what is this, the behavior is checked. Next, the behavior of the system must be a sequential. If the one phase is completed, the next phase only comes. Independently in unit testing, we will implement only one phase. Okay, next only we will complete the next phase. So in this testing, we have to implement only one sequential form, which is basically based upon the actions taken to form a sequential form. Fine. Next one, in the system testing, we will take the decisions. Okay, suppose one module is implementing one decision, second module is representing another decision. So you see, this module is independent and this module, but it form a one flow graph or a chart to represent the testings, right? So in this testing also, we also have a data flow charts or a control flow charts. Control flow charts, what you means, if we are executing 1, 2 indicates. Okay, I already said in the previous class what is a data flow graph is nothing but connected to the number of variables which are to form a particular path. Okay, so this is the flow graph, right? This is the flow graph. So 1 is connected to 2 and we have to identify x-axis and y-axis. Here x-axis what? Here x-axis what? X is connected to the 2 and 3 and y is connected to the 2 and 4. So this is nothing but these systems will also connect with the data flows and control flows to execute the transactions or to execute the, depending on the graph, we have to identify the testings. Okay. So next we have to know the clear. I already said that in this model of testing we will discuss about the unit testing. So one unit testing is also called as a component testing. Okay, component testing. In this component testing, this unit testing and a single testing must be an independent unit until it must be not repeated to the other module. Fine. The next one in this unit testing, comparison with the system testing and integration testing. In this unit testing, the components will be a smallest things or smallest pieces which can be tested, and these testings also may be linked. Okay, the small testings also linked to the other modules or loaded to the other modules. Okay, the second step is nothing but one programming. Okay, in this we suppose we have implemented the project with some set of code, right? In some set of code we will implement a number of lines, right? Lines of code. How we are calculating by software engineering, we know lines of code will be calculated by the COCOMO model, like that, right? But in this testing we will find out as this 100 of lines of code will be calculated one unit testing. Okay, one system testing we can calculate and we can modify that. Okay, next one, in this unit testing we will only specify what are the functional specifications of the data which is present in the particular project. Okay, so in this unit testing, what is the functional testing? Functional testing means what are the operations, what are the modules, or what are the techniques which are using this functional specification. Coming to the non-functional nothing with what is the project of the size, what is the project of the speed, or what is the time limit. These all will be calculated in non-functional. Functional means what are the operations or the modules, what are the testing phases which are used in the functionals. Okay, so unit testing is also called as a functional testing. Functional specifications will be rectified. So next one is the component testing, which is nothing but a unit testing, right? These components will be integrated with other in number of ways. Why? Means to form a integration of the environmental model. Okay, environmental model only unit testing will be connected. So in this component testing, if does not satisfies, then it can be removed or it can be implemented as a not matched data. Okay, if it is not satisfied, if it will be implemented as not matched data. Next, system testing. What is system testing? Ante that this unit testing, integration testing, okay, these all will be combined with one system testing, right? So in this system testing, what I said in unit testing is the smallest component, right? But in this system testing, we will implement this system testing always will be a largest or a big component of a project. Why? Means all the software of the hardware and software will be involved in this system testing. So in this system testing, we will implement the bugs. Okay, if I already said before only, testing must be identified in early stage only. Okay, if we do not find at early stage, it will be gone through the big size and it will cannot be we cannot rectify the bugs at ending state, right? So this is a system testing also, it is a big component, right? So in this big component, if we are not identified in early stage only, in this system testing it is impossible to find the bugs. Okay, first requirement analysis, you know how to find the bugs. This is the requirement gathering, design, implementation, testing. So the testing of the bugs must be identified in early stage. If we do not identify, it will be increased like that. So increase to see, we can see the way of how the chart is representing, is going hype means it is increasing the step by step process, and in this last testing it is impossible to find the bug. Okay, so next one testing is nothing but this system testing will be verified at early stage and verification will be done before the design phase only. Why? Means business requirements for business needs or by companies, in system testing they're combining the huge amount or huge components, right? So they have to identify the prevention of bugs in early stage because they have the data, huge amount of data. Suppose for example I will take Amazon application. Okay, for suppose we are doing an Amazon application we are implementing, right? So I'm logging I want to buy anything in Amazon, and the another person is want to buy another product in particular Amazon, right? So we have different applications. So the back end of the data, who is controlling the or who is developing the particular data of a data set or a particular information gathering, he have to know about who is performing, and he will know about the huge amount of data is gathered. So by rectifying means by knowing by knowing the information that Amazon application is the huge that we cannot identify. So before only by login data and when we are login only, they have to know whether it is login and they had byte. Means before only they prevent the data, then it is easy to continue the another process. So we had in this system testing, they stand on the systematical process. Okay, they have to stand in systematical process and they have to verify and validate both the requirements. I mean back end and front end. They have to rectify each and every phases to execute the particular project. Fine. Next one, integration testing. In integration testing, the two modules will be integrated with each other, right? So in this integration testing, the components of the modules will be integrated to each other to form a large. So unit testing is nothing but a small components. Coming to the system testing, the big components. Coming to the integration testing, small components will form to connect to form a big component, right? Directly unit testing is saying that it is a small component. Okay, system, what it's saying, it is a big component. Coming to the integration, it is saying directly small component connected to the big component, means why it is integrated to form a big component, right? So in this integration testing, the testing will be done individually but to form a big component. So after it is satisfaction, it will say that assurance like it is validating the process or validating the software. Next, this integration testing also checks the components which are not correct and correct. Okay, the components which are correctly implemented or which are not correctly not implemented. It also says that what is the combination between this and what is the impact going on the information which is not correct. Fine. Next one, last one, verification of the software testing. How we are verifying the software testing? Means depending on the software. Okay, suppose we are taking unwanted data which is repeated. We can't take that it is a prevented data, right? We have to prevent the data by the test cases and test tools. So in this environmental testing or the process testing or a bug model, there are the three models which are involved in the model of testing, right? So in this environmental model, we will analyze the data and we will design the data. Coming to the progress, means is nothing but a designing as well as the implementation of the data. Coming to the next one, bug. Bug is nothing but implementation and testing and maintenance phase will be done at the bug model. So these are the model which are nothing but a sequential models, right? Sequentially it will one phase, after completion of the one phase we have to go to the next phase. So these all testing phases or from requirement analysis in last means unit testing to system testing, all this testing will be tested in one path to form a result. If the result is not updated or result is not correct, it will be go to the first stage and it will be repeated. We have to not go in the middle of the stage where it is when we have, suppose I will say you in unit testing, okay, integration testing, in system testing. Okay, after completion of three process we have a result. Fine. After the completion of the result only we have the output. But in after the some cases, means if we have a problem in integration testing, we must not directly implement the integration testing. We have to start from unit testing, next integration testing, next system testing. We have to implement step by step process. So in this system testing and integration testing, which are nothing but they will implement in the real time world. Okay, how are they implementing the real time world and what are the benefits while using this model of testing? We have to know which phase is implementation and what are the components are involving and which the components are independent or are not. Individually they have to test it. Okay, next we will know about what are the advantages of system testing. First, it is the high level of automation, means it is very high level, means model of the testing is always be depend upon the high achievements, which is nothing but the best quality we have to depend on. Next, the testing must be a possible way which can be reach the customer reaction. Next, we have to change. If we want to change the model at the middle of the state, we can change, but we have to start from the first onwards. Okay, now coming to the next one, disadvantage. What is disadvantages? Means we have to specify the requirement specification, right? When we have a requirement specification, it is carry the too much time. If we have for some fault, it will carry the too much time to gather the information or the guidelines. Okay, next one, changing of the model will be result. If we want to change of the model, it will be difficult for together. If your independent component, it can change easily, but dependent modules are there, no, it is impossible or difficult to change the testing. Fine. Last one, it is nothing but it is the couple of the model, which is nothing but each and every model will be connected to other, right? Independently we cannot connect with independent module, right? So it is to form the huge amount of the system testing, we have to know about the model of the testing. Okay, so this model of testing is nothing but we will know about the environmental, real-time environmental and environmental model. So these environmental model will define about the real-time phasing of techniques which are used in the requirement analysis to maintenance phase. After the completion of the bug phase or means maintenance phase or testing phase, it will go through the testing which use the test cases or test plans. Through that these test conditions will implement the output. If it is not if it is expected dependent on the customer reaction or customer satisfaction, it will go through the result. If it is not implemented the best result which is provided by the guidelines of the organization, it will go to the first stage until it rectify. In this testing, finally I want to say that in the testing, if we release, if it is modified and released to the market also, we have to know about the clear view of the documentation and the software. So before releasing into the market, we have to be get a best quality assurance bond based on the ISO standards. Okay, the ISO is nothing but a best quality standards, right? Best quality means whether it have the empowerment of the employees or the team works or the project how it's working, whether it is prevented or not, whether it is validated or not. Okay, we have to know all the states or all the standards and we have to follow. So by what is the model of the testing means? By prevention means we are independently using unit testing, integration testing or system testing, right? These all testings will come under the model of testing only. But model of testing, what is nothing but it will say about the progress of the testing, means what are the processing of data, how it is designing and implementing. Coming to the bugs, means what are the test cases are using, and environmental is nothing but analysis of the data. So these all phases will be combined tested at once only to form a particular result is nothing but a model of testing. So in this testing, with it is main advantage is nothing but we can modify the data, but we have to start at the starting phase. Okay, disadvantage is main thing is nothing but if we have lines of code huge means we cannot if it is unprevented means we cannot stop or we cannot add the data of a testing. Fine, thank you.